On this Memorial Day 2015, the Rockies have made their way to the Queen City and the Ohio River. Welcome to Cincinnati, everybody. The Rockies opening up a 3-game set against the Cincinnati Reds. And good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's enjoying the lengthy weekend. We celebrate Memorial Day today in Cincinnati with my partner, George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. It was a short night of sleep for the Rockies last night. We arrived about 3 in the morning, get up and get after it again, but they have a bounce in their step because they're starting to swing it, George.
They're starting to swing the bat very well, and it's holiday baseball. You're in Cincinnati. It's going to be a packed house. The ball flies here. Take advantage of all the offense that you've been watching while in Denver. Arenado's been hot. There's no question. This ball club, 7.8 runs, almost 8 per ball game. The average has jumped, the extra base hits, the home runs, and the important thing here, 7 different Rockies have hit the long ball. It hasn't been one guy carrying this club. It's been a lot of guys, and one of those big sparks, in my opinion, has been Brandon Barnes since he showed up. A lot of electricity with him in the lineup.
Well, he'll be in the lineup again today, but Nolan Arenado had one of those special days yesterday, George. 4 hits, 5 at-bats, a double shy of the cycle, 3-run bomb in the 4th to blow the game wide open. He had been in a little bit of a slump, but he really broke out yesterday.
Gone from a 1 for 12 to just killing the baseball. That's what he's done, and he's using all parts of the ballpark, including the one over the fence. It's a good place to go a lot, and he's done that. The numbers are going to turn. Look at the back of the baseball card. This guy can hit. He can drive in runs. He can hit home runs. He can do everything you want him to do in your lineup. And oh, by the way, that gold glove shows up every single day when he's in the lineup. I'm
glad you mentioned Brandon Barnes because I call him double espresso. He's instant energy. It's legit. You play with a lot of different guys in your time in the big leagues, and sometimes there were guys that had that false hustle label. His teammates love him. It's legit. It's who he is.
Well, I just watched him before the ball game. He's going down the dugout with veterans and the young guys, high-fiving everybody, fist pumping. Let's play some baseball. Who cares about 4 hours sleep? Let's play baseball.
Yeah,
I love it.
He had EY going. I thought EY was going to run out there and grab a glove and start playing. Well, we are set for baseball. The Rockies trying to make it 3 in a row. It's their first 2-game winning streak in a month. Charlie Blackmon was not in the original starting lineup. Carlos Gonzalez was. Cargo's under the weather a little bit, not feeling well, so he was a late scratch. Originally, it was Brandon Barnes actually leading off, so now it's Charlie Blackmon at the top of the order, and here's the rest of the starting lineup for Walt Weiss, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. DJ will bat second. Arenado will bat in the 3 spot. Then Ben Paulson, Willeen Rosario. Barnes batting 6, playing right field. Nick Hundley had a big day yesterday. Daniel Descalso getting the start for Tulowitzki at shortstop. It's just a scheduled day off for Troy. And Eddie Butler is on the mound. And a former Rocky and a guy who's had a very good career, though he's struggling right now, will pitch for Cincinnati. Jason Marquis making his 9th start. It's been a struggle, though, George.
Yeah, a lot of the home runs, 9, have come up big with men on base. The earned run average near 7. He's 3-4. Had a great spring with 3-1 with a very low earned run average and made this ball club out of spring training. Against the Rockies, he is 6-6 in his career with a 4.15 earned run average. The Rockies have hit .266 against Jason Marquis.
Today and every day, we remember and honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our great nation. That's on the Rockies website, and we second and third those thoughts. We're glad you're along with us. Jason Marquis ready. Stepping in is Charlie Blackmon. 265, 6 home runs, 17 RBIs for Charlie, and that pitch is outside, ball 1. The Reds have really been hurting. They've lost 8 consecutive games, the longest losing streak in the big leagues, and that pitch misses 2-0. They were up in Cleveland, battle for Ohio the last 3 days. They got swept up there. They've scored 7 runs their last 5 games.
And puzzling to me when you look at their lineup, and trust me, it's a big name lineup. Guys that hit a lot of home runs, guys that drive in a lot of runs, from Phillips and Votto and Frazier, Marlon Byrd, Jay Bruce. This is a very good team that has not hit or performed.
3-0, and that's in there for a strike. Tim Timmons, 13 and a half years as a big league umpire. He's got balls and strikes this afternoon. Todd Tishner at first. Tim Welke, 30-plus years at second base. He's the crew chief. Mike Everett at third. Ball 4, so a good start as Charlie Blackmon draws a walk on 5 pitches. The one thing the Reds have done well consistently this year is catch the baseball, and they should. They have some good defenders. Billy Hamilton in center field, Bird and Bruce next to him. Cozart's a real good shortstop. Frazier's played good third base. Brandon Phillips has 4 Gold Gloves. Joey Votto's at first base, and Brian Pena is behind the plate. By the way, they put Devin Mesoraco on the disabled list this morning. He's been battling a hip situation, has not been able to catch because he can't squat, but he's supposed to be their cleanup hitter. And they finally said he's got to go on the shelf. And they brought up left-handed reliever Manny Parra.
He had been out on a 15
runner going, and they're not going to get Charlie. Easily steals second base.
8 stolen base for Charlie. Big jump on Marquis. Threw 4 out of 5 pitches for balls. Charlie advanced to first, now in scoring position. Yeah, not a whole lot of attention paid. Big lead by Charlie. 1 foot beyond the cut of the grass, and easily took second base.
So LeMahieu, who goes to right field, as you know so well, showed bunt again. He takes a strike, 1-1. DJ had a good series against the Giants. He's always swung the bat well against San Francisco. He had yesterday off. And that's off the plate, 2-1. Marquis was signed in the middle of the season last year by the Phillies. Pitched a little bit in their minor league system. He was not in the big leagues last year.
Trying to work his way back from multiple injuries, multiple different things that had gone on with his pitching, and then went back.
Hot shot at Votto, and for a second, they just did get him at first. For a second, he thought about gunning it to third.
Yeah, he made the right decision because that was a great pick by Joey Votto at first base. Always has been a very good, solid defensive first baseman. 3 errors only on the year for Votto. 1 hop line drive shot, could have easily got into that corner, but a pick by Votto. He looked to make that toss. And I will say this, once he went down, if Jason doesn't make the move to first base, DJ's safe. He hesitated in the beginning, but got there in plenty of time to get the out.
So the Reds will bring the infield in here in the first inning with 1 out. Arenado at the plate. Time now for the big hit presented by Mako. Turn the car you drive into the car you love. Rockies on their way to an 8-run 4th inning. Biggest inning of the year. Nolan Arenado punctuated it with that 3-run home run. For Nolan, his 8th home run of the year. He leads the club with 25 driven in. And a line shot base hit. And Nolan picking up where he left off yesterday. He makes it 1-0 with RBI number 26.
Defensively, Todd Frazier was holding on, which I didn't really understand. Charlie Blackmon at third base. So Jason Marquis must have a move to third. You can see where he's standing right onto the bag. Then it's a late move to try to get into his fielding position. Nolan took advantage of it. Shot it through the hole on the left side.
I'm glad you mentioned that, George, because I was about to lead you to that. I haven't seen that since 8-year-olds playing Little League where they think they got to hold the runner on at third base.
Yeah, it's different. I could see another base hit. Ben Paulson just keeps it going.
So the Rockies, who pounded the baseball yesterday, 11 runs on 11 hits. They have a couple knocks here in a first inning that has already produced a run, and with just 1 out and 2 on, Willeen Rosario will come up. And Willeen owns a home run in his career against Jason Marquis.
Well, the leadoff walk never does you good as a pitcher. I can tell you that. Jason walked Charlie. He stole second. The base hit by Nolan. Another base hit now by Paulson.
And Willeen takes a strike. When Marquis has been on his game throughout his career, he's been able to induce a lot of ground ball outs.
Heavy sinker guy. I mean, he's only walked 12 so far at 42 and 2/3 innings on the season. He likes to work away from right-handed hitters, run the fastball back over the corner of the plate. And he's not being successful right now. He does have a slider. He'll mix in a changeup occasionally. 63 ground ball outs this year, is what Drew talking about, just 35 fly ball outs.
And Moline fouls that one off. Ball and 2 strikes. Tomorrow's a night game. Wednesday's a day game. Unusual that you play 2 out of 3 in the afternoon, so Rockies will get some rest tonight after the short night last night.
Yeah, that's that heavy sinker that he takes a little bit off of it, and he gets a lot of sink on the baseball. And it's just I mean, it is nasty because you're thinking away, and then it just dives underneath at about 82 to 84 miles an hour. He takes his fingers, puts them outside of the baseball, and that's where you see that big move down. Moline trying to fight the pitch off. Bottom hand comes off, top hand flips it off the screen.
So 2 outs. Arenado at second, Paulson at first, and Brandon Barnes comes to the plate. It's kind of neat when you look up on the scoreboard, Frazier, you're hitting .615.
Yeah, you just want it to be in October about right now. If I was hitting .615. Well, he just brings such a huge amount of interest and energy into this team when he's in the lineup. And unfortunately for him, he did not have a great spring. He was not hitting the ball particularly well, but he was hitting a lot of line drive outs. I read quotes from Glenn Allen Hill where he's swinging the bat good. It's just happened to be going at a lot of people while in Albuquerque. And when he's gotten the chance here, he's found the holes.
I think also, too, for a guy that's been in the big leagues like Barnes and finds himself in AAA, you're grinding naturally trying to get back to the big leagues. Maybe that's some of the reason that he started slowly in Albuquerque. This is back up the middle. Marquis gets his glove knocked off, but he'll get the out at first to close the inning. But the Rockies get a run off Marquis. Blackman walks, stole second, comes home on an Arenado base hit. For the first inning, the Reds lineup is written out by Brian Price, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Brandon Phillips hitting .309. The veteran second baseman will be atop the lineup. Joey Votto will bat second. Todd Frazier's got a ton of pop. He's got 12 home runs. Then Jay Bruce, Brian Pena, Marlon Byrd, Zach Cozart. Jason Marquis is going to bat eighth. Billy Hamilton ninth. The Reds, we've seen Walt Weiss do this. Tony La Russa did it quite frequently. This is the first time a Reds pitcher has batted anywhere but ninth since 1933. The last to do it, when the Reds took on Brooklyn, Red Lucas hit 7th in a 2-0 loss. First pitch of the ball game from Eddie Butler is in there, strike one on Brandon Phillips.
Eddie, not a lot of experience against the National League Central. Matter of fact, he's just thrown 5+ innings, 5 2/3 against the National League Central overall this year. He's had one complete ball game. That was a rain-shortened ball game out of 8 starts. The record 2-5. The earned run average high. The one thing that has to change for him to have success at the major league level, the 25 walks.
In the air down the right field line. Willeen giving it a look. And it's out of play. No, there's no question. Butler has to throw strikes. For him, George, I remember when Jamie Wright came up, and Jamie had that super sinker, and they tried to work the edges with him, and he was walking guys, and finally they told the catcher, set up in the middle of the plate. The natural movement will move the ball to the edges.
Well, there was a really good pitching coach, Al Whitmire, for a number of years that worked for the Toronto Blue Jays, and I had my experience with him the very first time in Milwaukee. And he looked at me and he said, "Why are you trying to throw it to the corner? You're going to miss constantly." A heavy sinker ball type guy. He said, "Throw it right down the middle." He said, "I tell you what, I'll give you $100 for every pitch you throw down the middle." Well, you could never do it. The ball's going to run, it's going to sink, it's going to move out of the middle. He has and a slider is coming. It's becoming a much better pitch for him. He's getting confidence in that.
One and two on Phillips. And that's wasted. And Brian Price shaking up the lineup, and you do that when you've lost 8 in a row, and you do that when you're not scoring runs.
There's a little pressure on Brian Price. He was a very well-known, very good major league pitching coach. Very well thought of by his team. They ended up making him the manager. Things have not gone well for him. There's a lot of fanfare when you lose this many straight in a row. They start talking about, well, is it time to replace him? Is it time to make that move?
Another 1-2 pitch, and Phillips pokes it towards center field, but Charlie Blackmon's there, and one out. Well, Brian Price, I think the heat picked up on Brian. He had the office media gathering where he was upset that somebody had seen a player that hadn't been put on the roster yet, and he was asked about it, and he in colorful language got after everybody in the room, and it became a national story. This ball's well hit by Votto, deep left field. Paulson is going to have to field it off the wall, and Joey Votto's into second with a double. And then, of course, the 8-game losing streak. So, yep, there's some heat on Brian Price. That guy can flat swing it.
He can. And the Rockies, though, the last 2 years had really handled Votto. He was 4 for 34 overall, but still a 300 career hitter. Good hard sinker from Eddie. Eddie, you're going to do that. You're going to make good pitches. They're going to swing the bat. They practice an awful lot, too. This ball off and over the head. Ben Paulson in left field, play it off of that fence and get it back in very quickly. Votto is just, he's a great hitter, folks.
Todd Frazier at the plate. Frazier out of Rutgers. Won the home run derby last year. And, of course, this is the side of the 2015 All-Star game. And, you know, he'll be involved in that home run derby. We've seen him hit the ball on top of the boat in center field. One out. Here's the 0-1. Goes slider and misses. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. And then Brian Price on Saturday got thrown out of the game by Jim Reynolds before the game started. They were exchanging the lineup cards.
It's pretty good when you get tossed for the anthem, right?
Hard to do typically. This is in the air, deep left center field. And Blackmon tried but couldn't get it. It's gone, a 2-run home run.
His 13th of the season, 26 RBIs now. His first home run since May 13th.
He's a strong man.
Well, he's very strong, and he's got a lot of power when he can extend the arms. You try to crowd him with the fastball. This fastball stayed right out over the middle of the plate from Eddie Butler in an even count, and he drove it out of the ballpark just, and I mean just, out of the reach of Charlie Blackmon.
Yeah, tremendous effort by Charlie. That pitch misses on Jay Bruce, who also has a lot of power.
Count was even 1-1 whenever Frazier hit that home run into left center.
And Bruce lines a base hit to right.
And I'd like to go back and look at Charlie Blackmon's play in left center field on the home run and how close he actually got to this ball right off the tip of the glove. Charlie skied very high there, but it just got the tip of his glove, came out, and ended up in the rooftop of the Reds bullpen.
We talk about Eddie being a sinker ball pitcher, but everything's been up. So all 4 balls have been in the air. Brandon Phillips flew out to right center field. Everything else has been in the air. This is Brian Pena doing the everyday catching with the injury to Devin Mesoraco, and we told you he's now on the disabled list.
But Drew, you look at their lineup and you say, how have they lost 8 or 9 games in a row? How are they not hitting? This is a very good lineup the Reds have.
It's a deep lineup. You still want them to figure it out while the Rockies are in town.
403 feet on Todd Frazier's home run.
2-0 on the veteran Pena. And again, he goes by Brian, even though you look at it and back home he's known as Brayon.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Sure he didn't go by Brian at home?
Depends which house he's at.
It's that 4-hour sleep night, having a little fun.
Yes. 2-1. Or 2-0. And that pitch is in there. 2-1.
You know, I don't know how players do it today either, with the rain delays and everything that went on Denver, going home at 2 o'clock in the morning, got a day game, got an hour and a half to rain delay and do it again, get on the plane and get in at 3 o'clock in the morning. Not trying to make any excuses, trust me. I'm just saying it's tough to do.
Three balls and a strike. Marlon Byrd on deck. They put the runner in motion, and they're going to get him. Good throw by Nick Hundley to cut down Jay Bruce.
For Hundley, that is 8 of 21 now would-be base stealers that he's been able to cut down on the season. Pretty good job by Nick Hundley. Gets the foot in a great position. Stayed with that pitch. That's difficult to do, too, when a guy's going. The high jump by Descalso, and then able to apply the tag before he gets in. Jay Bruce throwing out for the 3rd time this year.
Reds lead all of baseball in stolen bases. It's mostly the work of Billy Hamilton. No, Brandon Phillips runs well. Brandon Phillips is trimmed down quite a bit. I'm sure you noticed that when he came up. Pena walks. Byrd coming up with 2 outs. Defensively, Blackmon is in center. Paulson in left. Barnes in right. Arenado, Descalso, LeMahieu, Rosario in the infield with Nick Hundley behind the dish. Byrd won for his last 15. The one was a home run yesterday, late in the ball game in Cleveland, a game that the Reds would lose 5-2. Byrd holding those hands down. You'll notice that, George. I'm sure you played with guys as they got a little longer in the tooth, lowered their hands, just trying to get a little bit quicker to the baseball, a little bit shorter to the baseball.
Yeah, a lot of times what they'll do, they open the front side early and they get the back going early, hoping you miss inside, cheating on the fastball. You know, still a very productive player. 9 home runs on the season for Bird so far with 24 RBIs, and his average is down from his career average at 209 right now as he enters play today. Excuse me, 203 as he enters play today. Guy that was basically out of baseball, went to Mexico, hit a lot of home runs, did a great job over there, came back, played well for the New York Mets, the Philadelphia Phillies, and now here in Cincinnati. A veteran presence and a veteran player.
Yep, 37 years old. And that misses. And you're right, he's put together a nice career, George. 278 career hitter, 140 lifetime home runs, well over 600 RBIs. It's good work.
Very good player. Hey, you always like a guy that baseball basically tells you you're done. And you go to Mexico and get on the base buses and play over there and put up the big numbers that he did. Over 40 home runs, I think, when he was in Mexico. 100 and something RBIs when he got signed. He just swung the bat tremendously over there.
Ground ball to third. Nolan's got it. And that'll end the inning. In the inning, a 2-run home run from Todd Frazier after a Joey Votto double gives the Reds the lead 2-1. Sports is brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores. Let's go places. By the Courtyard by Marriott, Western Elegance in the cultural heart of the city. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. So the Rockies get a run in the first, and then Cincinnati got a 2-run home run from Todd Frazier, no relation to my partner, to make it 2-1. As we go to inning number 2, it did rain this morning. The tarp was on the field. But fortunately, though it remains overcast, we haven't had any raindrops yet. We have seen enough. Nick Hundley will lead things off. That's where the fire was, George, on the right.
You're right, Drew.
You see the bat there that's charred still? That was crazy during a ball game.
Yeah, it was.
We had firefighters going up there to put out a little blaze. Strike one on Nick, and here it was several days ago.
Well, they shoot fireworks out of that thing when they have the national anthem and the home runs and all that kind of stuff here at the ballpark.
And somebody said, I don't think that. Yeah, that's not supposed to still be going on, right? I don't think that's part of the fireworks.
Somebody
display.
should call the fire department right now.
Unfortunately, they put it out quickly. Hundley drives this ball high and deep left field. Stay fair. It is a foul ball. Nick bidding for his 5th home run. Just out front a smidgen.
3 hits and 7 at-bats against Jason Marquis. None of them have been a home run. An RBI hit .429. You
can see it turn just foul. So Pena went out to visit with Marquis, and George, you've been in that position. You go, hey, listen, let's not throw that pitch again.
or it's the conversation where he goes, look, I don't know how your stuff is because I'm not catching a lot of it, so let's change it. What do you think? All the fans are getting all the balls around here. We need to change this up a little bit. Yeah, that young man made a nice catch, but I think it caught a little skin. I hope he's okay.
1-2, and this is on the ground to Frazier.
You know, the biggest difference.
High throw, and Nick's safe. Throwing error on Frazier.
Just like a leadoff walk drives you crazy as a pitcher. And Frazier got under, and that ball sailed tremendously. And Frazier, it's his 5th error of the season. He was positioned perfectly on that hard seeker end, a step off of the line. Had all the time in the world, and he just airmailed it.
Coming into the ball game, the Reds were 4th in fewest errors in the National League, just their 21st as a team. Here's Descalso, and Daniel takes low ball 1. He'll take advantage.
Well, just like the leadoff walk in the previous inning, the Rockies able to take advantage of that after a stolen base. Descalso has been hot of late.
And he stays hot. Smacks that right through the middle of the diamond for a base hit. And now you have 2 aboard, and Eddie Butler will try to get a bunt down. Rockies fans, you can join the conversation. Send us your thoughts and photos via Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Use the hashtag ToyotaTalk, and we'll show some of your Toyota Talk comments as the game progresses. Memorial Day in Cincinnati. Rockies will go on to Philadelphia for a 3-game set on the weekend. And Eddie kind of stabs at that. George, that's not how you want to do it.
They had a pickoff at second base, too. That whole left side of the infield opened up very quickly. Eddie in a bunt mode right now, trying to bunt hard up the third base line. And by the way, Jason Markey, very good athlete off of the mound. So you've got to make a good bunt here, or the results won't be well.
They have a chance at third, and Votto gets it to his buddy Brandon Phillips. Good footwork by Phillips, George, on that bag.
Very good footwork as you look back at it now. I mean, this is a good bunt by Eddie Butler. It had enough kill to it. It had a high hop to it, and that allowed Votto not to be able to make the throw to third base. You can see Frazier sprint back as he got it. He thought about it. Off balance throw. Then you see the T-Berry shuffle at first by Brandon Phillips to get the out. T-Berry shuffle. You hadn't heard that in a while, have you, Drew?
Or ever.
You haven't ever heard of that? Should have gone on a float trip with Steve and Jenny. You would have heard about it.
Yep, Jenny and her husband Steve. Steve's up here doing stats for us. Seen some of Jenny's relatives just south of here in Kentucky. So Blackman a chance to have the Rockies retake the lead. 2 in scoring position with 1 out. It's 2-1 Cincinnati, top of inning number 2.
That's Steve. Where are you, Steve? Come on. Wave. You're on TV. Everybody at home's waiting on you. No, not yet, baby. Good job. He's embarrassed.
Former minor league pitcher Steve Spurgeon.
Is he embarrassed or is Jenny embarrassed? She's got like her face buried downstairs.
Where is Jenny?
She's in the dugout, keeping score. Well, I hope Charlie comes up with another big base hit here. He's been able to do that this year. He's 17 RBIs on the season, 6 home runs. As a pitcher right now, the sinker ball guy, you're trying to get him to roll over the top of that slider or sinker. They're going to give you the run. The infield's back, trying to get the second out of the inning here.
Change speeds, and he's ahead of Charlie 1-2. DJ's on deck. Hundley at third, Descalso at second. Billy Hamilton is really shallow, startlingly shallow in center field.
He's got to obviously feels very comfortable on going back on the baseball and covering his ground. He's got electric type speed. And again, I think there's certain guys that can do that. There's not many though that can cover the ground. I like a guy about 15 feet deeper. Then you got your angles to the gaps much better than what you do here.
Yeah, to your point, George, I know he can fly. That's where you kind of line up for the weak hitting pitcher.
Right. You don't line up for Charlie that way. Make them pay.
Outside, I mean, Blackmon, 19 home runs last year. He's on pace for 24, 25 home runs this year. 2-2. Marquis grew up on Staten Island, still lives on Staten Island. And he strikes out. Blackmon, 2 gone.
Yeah, take a look at this right out of the hand. The split finger that he added later part of his career in a very good location. Threw him with great arm action on the finish.
LeMahieu hit a smash at Joey Votto that Votto made a nice pickup on. It moved the runner from second to third in the first. He's batting .500 with runners in scoring position. Actually .516 to be precise. He's hitting .500 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. That's what you're looking at right now. Rockies with the 3 best averages in the National League. Offense over the last 4 games against the Giants averaged 8 runs a game, 32 runs. Their previous 4, they had just 11 runs. They're starting to swing it.
Yeah, Jason wanted that pitch. Pena even told him good pitch. He does not get the strike call from Tim Timmons, who's working home plate today.
Nor should he, because both pitches were
out
down.
of the zone. Yeah. But that's where he has to be successful. His fastball will top out at 89. It's no longer 90-94 anymore. He's got to pitch a lot more delicately as far as hitting his locations and be in the bottom half of the zone.
It's a called strike, 2-1. DJ back up the middle, through the middle of the diamond, base hit. 1 run is scored. Both runners will score. Descalso gives the Rockies the lead, 3-2. Once again, DJ LeMahieu coming through with runners in scoring position. What a remarkable first half he's had.
Oh, he has 23 RBIs now, hitting mostly in the 8th spot of the lineup. Recently elevated to number 2, depending on who's in that lineup. Comes up big here. Fastball that they tried to take to the outside corner. Look at his hands. Boy, really bringing the man close to the body, getting that front side cleared to where he could do the most damage with it. Shot it by Jason. Not able to make the play right back up the middle as he did previously the end of the last inning on Brandon Barnes.
Ball 1 on Nolan Arenado. Nolan has 6 hits in his last 7 at bats. He had a base hit to drive in a run last inning. Line drive to left. There goes DJ. Swung on and missed, and Pena is not going to get DJ.
4th stolen base for DJ LeMahieu. Big jump, just like Charlie had in the first inning. And that's what you want to see, because now you got a very good hitter, a guy that drives in a ton of runs. And Nolan, take the chance, get into scoring position.
And Chris Warren, good advanced scouting.
Yeah, sliding to that outfield side to throw very high from Pena. Had a low 3/4 arm action on his throw to second. You're going to get a rise and a little bit of a tail on the baseball.
You got a good combination, George, with Marquis with that leg kick, and Pena struggling. Speaking of struggling, Kozar can't come up with that baseball.
Well, he got deked. In baseball, they call it deked. Whenever you put your glove down, pull it back, and then you try to catch the ball behind the guy, that's what Todd Frazier did to him. So that's going to make it difficult. You know, that's the advantage, folks. If you're at home watching Nolan Arenado every day, he makes a lot of those plays, which takes a lot of pressure off Troy Tulowitzki. But when this ball's hit, Frazier breaks on it, then cuts in front of him, and then Kozar basically just takes it off his knee. A base hit for Nolan. As it should be.
So Ben Paulson, who had a base hit to right, chance to continue this 2-out rally. Five hits already for the Rockies.
Now the two miscues, one by the pitcher Marquis, the walk to Charlie, that resulted in a run. To start the inning here in the second, the error by Todd Frazier. He got you into that RBI type part of your lineup, and that costs the Reds.
Good swing by Paulson.
You talk to a lot of minor league guys that come up, and they'll tell you it's easier to hit in the big leagues. And you go, why is it easier? If it's that easy, why doesn't a lot of people do it? People around the strike zone more. The scouting report, more video, everything about it, that if you can hit a little bit, you're going to hit in the big leagues.
Well, to your point, Marquis thrown 41 pitches, 28 have been in the strike zone.
They're going to be around the zone. It may be a split, it may be a slider, it may be a curveball or a changeup, and then all of a sudden here comes the fastball. It's a matter how you're going to attack the second time through the lineup, not so much the first. The Rockies are well into it, halfway through the second time through the lineup.
Paulson in battle mode, down a couple of strikes, first and third. And the strikeout of Ben Paulson by Marquis, but the Rockies get a couple of runs, 2-run single with 2 outs from DJ LeMahieu, and the Rockies have the lead again, 3-2. And Jenny Kavnar downstairs. Jenny, you didn't have any moonshine when you were in Kentucky, did you?
No, I did not. That's
liar,
illegal,
liar.
Drew. That
Just
is
kidding.
Illegal. Hey, let's talk about some baseball today. Fair assessment to say that it's an important start for Eddie Butler. His last 2 starts, he combined for just 5 2/3 innings. And for Walt Weiss, it's really about his pitch selection.
His greatest strength can sometimes be the biggest challenge for him, and that's the movement of his two-seamer. It's a great weapon to have, but the last couple starts, he's had a difficult time keeping in the strike zone.
Well, Zach Kozar just flying out there to Charlie Blackmon in center field. Eddie Butler didn't have a great first inning, 25 pitches for him. And for Walt Weiss, he said it's really about mixing that 2-seam and that 4-seam fastball that he has. Being in counts is crucial. Hopefully he learned some lessons from that in the first inning, guys.
All right, Jenny, thanks a lot. And this guy can swing it. Jason Marquis, 143 on the season. Hits a double here with 1 out. Shoots it down that left field corner.
Hey, you weren't even able to get the words out of your mouth that he's always been a good hitter. 5 career home runs, 56 career RBIs, and that is his 35th career double.
Oh, he can swing it now. You're not going to cheat him. You're going to have to come up with different things, off-speed stuff early in counts, because he's going to cheat and try to ambush the fastball, and he did it here.
So Billy Hamilton, who normally leads off with that wonderful speed, scuffling with the bat, is batting 9th.
17 stolen bases on the season. He's been caught 3 times.
He puts a lot of pressure on an infield defense because of that speed. They'd like to see him bunt even more than he has, George.
I think they'd like to see more of a Willie Taveras type player that can push it to all parts of the field and outrun the baseball. Take advantage of what got you here, and that was your speed. The minute you hit a home run or a line drive base hit, managers just drop their heads, because it's the last thing they want to have happen. They want you to think on the ground up the middle.
This is bounce toward DJ. He gets rid of it quickly. He'll get Hamilton by a step. Marquis to third, 2 outs.
It's the only player I can think of in the last 30-something years that can hit that one hopper like that to the infield and almost beat it out. The others were Vince Coleman and Willie Wilson, extremely quick guys from the left side. You know, you'd think of Ricky Henderson more of a base stealer than a speed guy out of the box. But this guy, you got to get rid of it quickly.
See, DJ, it looked like he was coaching up Willeen a little bit. Willeen's still in the learning process at first base.
That's knowing each other, knowing what you have to do.
Tough out, and Brandon Phillips. He had a lengthy at bat against Butler in the first, and then hit a fly ball to center. It's inside.
You got to have that conversation, and that's where DJ's thinking, you know, if I've got the ball, you've got to get to the bag and go. We've got a lot of speed at home plate. Now, this ball club, part of their struggles, Drew, have been with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. They've hit 160 as a team.
They're 1 for their last 32, coming in at least, with runners in scoring position. They are last in every metric that is concerned with hitting with runners in scoring position. Last in baseball. 1-1. High fly ball down the right field line. Barnes coming. Can he get there? Did he make the catch? You bet! The Barnyard getting it done. Spilling into the stands and closing the book on the Reds in the second. This is one heck of a play.
I'd like to give a shout out to my friends, family, and all members of the military this Memorial Day. Go Rockies.
Thank you, sir, for your service. As we go to the top of the third inning with George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman. Jenny Cavnar field level. Rockies 3, Reds 2. He impacts the game, man. No matter whether he gets a hit or not, he's going to find a way.
Well, he's a good baseball.
The game.
He's a baseball player. He loves playing the game. He's always been a guy that everybody said, you know, he's not going to make it. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. And he does all of those. He's just a fun guy to watch play the game.
He plays at 110 miles an hour. Rosario rolls it to short. Cozart, one of the better fielders at that position in the game.
Let's take another look at the catch by Brandon Barnes to end the inning. In the top half of their bottom half of the second inning, it's about knowing where you are, hanging on to the baseball. Yeah, come on, Reds fans, pushing back. See that one guy? He caught it. He caught it. Yeah, he caught it all right. Everybody's headed to the dugout. High fives from all the coaches, the players, as Barnes entered the dugout.
You know what, Georgie? You said it's about knowing where you are on the field, and for Barnes, it's sometimes about not caring where you are on the field either.
That's pretty good. That's a good point. I mean, he's just one of those guys, run through the brick wall to make the catch, do everything he can. You know, last year, what goes unnoticed sometimes.
This ball's lined to right, pretty well hit. Bruce going back, and he can't make the catch, and it hops over the fence. A ground rule double for Barnes.
Well, ball down and away from Brandon Barnes. He's just going to take it there. Think about that, folks. That's his fourth double already. Fourth double already. Wow, crazy. You see that little toe tap that's put in there with his swing? He's got a little bitty toe tap now where he just kind of taps that foot. And Glenn Allen Hill and Dave Hadjic put that in Albuquerque. And if you think back a couple of years ago, Glenn Allen did that exact same thing with Tulowitzki to get him to stay back a little bit longer, keep his hands in the hitting position. And that was done recently, and it just started getting better. The ground ball to Votto, the flip over to Jason Marquis for the second out as Barnes advances. But that toe tap has seemed to really help him keep his hands in the hitting position much longer on the setup and be able to handle the off-speed stuff particularly well.
Daniel Descalso due up. We'll see if they pitch to him or move on to Eddie Butler with first base open. Who wants tacos? When the Rockies score 7 or more, as they did yesterday, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. And not surprisingly, they're going to pass on Descalso. Had a base hit up the middle in his first at bat. Rockies up 3-2. So now would be the perfect time, George, for Eddie Butler to get that first knock of the season.
Oh, it'd be great for him to do that. If you watch Jason Marquis, this is a good little lesson for pitchers at home to learn and watch. He sets up on this intentional walk as if he's throwing a strike to the outside corner on the knees. He's doing everything fundamentally. If you change at times, and I've seen it, airmail the ball off the back screen, the run scores from third. He does every single thing fundamentally sound to make sure that he throws this ball right where Pena wants it.
We've all seen guys get the Fahibs trying to walk a guy.
Yeah, no question. And it's not like Eddie's facing a guy throwing 100. He's 88 miles an hour. You know what? Just get you one of those flip things into the outfield. Bust your bat and let it fly everywhere, and the ball just get out of the reach of second base. Over the first baseman's head. Took a hack. I like it. He had a lot of back leg swing working there.
1 strike on Butler.
It's like the old coach said, close your eyes, swing hard, and if you hit the ball, something good might happen.
That was fielded in fair territory by Pena, so that ends the inning. Rockies will leave Barnes at third, Descalso at first. They have a 3-2 lead, middle of 3 on this Memorial Day in Cincinnati, Ohio. terrific performance. You wanted to see him get the complete game shutout. He came up a little bit short, kind of ran out of gas. But it was a dominant outing. It was a pie-worthy performance. That was during his interview with Huey yesterday.
Well, I thought what he did yesterday very well. He exhibited the curveball, which he had thrown consistently at times, and then a good fastball ranged from 90 to 96 miles an hour in the ball game, averaged 92. He was able to take the slider to the back door, and a standing ovation by the crowd at Coors Field, a very well-deserved ovation.
He commanded everything. This is in the air to left, and Joey Votto's retired on one pitch. And I'm glad you mentioned the curveball, George. I know you watched the game closely when you got to town, and his curveball, I'm talking about it having to cover 25-mile-an-hour difference because it was more of a slow hook in the low 70s, and then he was running that fastball in the mid-90s consistently.
Well, I think it's important that whenever you have a hard slider, you can throw for strikes. And you have left-handers in the lineup, and you're able to spin the breaking ball for a strike, and they call it the get-ahead pitch. Get ahead with that slow breaking ball. Nobody's anticipating it. They're looking for the hard slider, the fastball in the low to mid-90s. You throw strike one, it's another thought in the minds of every hitter. Watch out, we got a splinter. Go get some new lumber there, Mr. Frazier.
That's kindling right there.
You love that when you do that as a pitcher. Fracture the bat. Hopefully you've gotten like 9 hits in a row with that bat when you break it on him too. You know, there's guys that have their favorites. That's off the end of the bat. They spend all day getting the tape around it, getting it all wrapped up pretty, get the pine tar just right to stick them on there, and then you break it.
Michael Kadire would dress up 3 bats before every game, and you never, if you were walking through the clubhouse and Michael had the bats leaning against a locker in the hallway, you wanted to make sure you steered clear of him because he had so much pine tar.
Well, that, and you know, yeah, exactly. And then, you know, players spend all that time getting in prime time. They don't want anybody touching that thing. Might take a hit away. This ball's hit well into center field. Charlie able to glide over and make a play on it. Just what the doctor ordered so far. 2 quick outs here as he works into the 3rd inning.
Well, it's good to see because in his last 2 outings, Eddie worked a combined 5 2/3.
Well, it's been difficult. I mean, you look back at his starts this year: Milwaukee 5 2/3, Frisco 5 1/3, LA 5-6 against San Francisco, and then it's 4-5, and then all of a sudden 2 2/3, then 3. Not that there was a lot of earned runs, but there was a lot of pitches. 83 and 2 2/3 innings, 77 in 3 innings. Right now in today's game, he's got 2 outs here in the 3rd and 39 pitches thrown in the game.
The other way, and a nice play by Arenado. The shift was on. Jay Bruce hit it to the left side, but that left side is anchored by Nolan Arenado. And even with one guy over there, ain't a whole lot of room for hits. 1, 2, 3, 3rd inning for Eddie Butler. Got through the thick part of the lineup nicely. Rockies up by a run as we go to the 4th. Root Sports is brought to you by the Ford Escape. Smart, safe, and fun to drive. Ford Escape. Go further. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by the Colorado Lottery. Expect the unexpected. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Jenny Cavnar. Great American ballpark in Cincinnati on the banks of the Ohio River. Charlie Blackmon's third opportunity to see Jason Marquis. Walked and scored in the first, struck out swinging in the second. Top of the Rockies order.
And Jason Marquis, now it's interesting to tell you how long this guy's been around. He's thrown 100 innings now. He had to get 2 1/3 against the Rockies today to have 12 different teams that he's thrown over 100 innings against.
Yeah, then you've been around a while. Jason, a former first-round pick, one of so many high-quality Braves pitchers through the years.
Well, he learned from the best while he was there, in and around Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, different pitching coaches that they had throughout their careers. And the one thing Jason didn't do a lot is get into the postseason as much as he probably should. A lot of his clubs were there, but he was kind of always the fifth man, odd man out on those teams.
Yeah, he's appeared in one All-Star game, and that was while he was with the Rockies, because he went 15-13 with the Rockies in 2009. He tailed off in the second half. He ended up throwing 216 innings, but he had a terrific first half. He was in St. Louis for the All-Star game. This ball's lifted to center field. Billy Hamilton drifting back now considerably, makes the catch.
Dollar hot dogs are back for the 2015 season, and the first 10,000 fans on Tuesday, June 2nd, is going to receive a coupon for one. So get your tickets now for that ball game when the Dodgers are in town.
Here comes DJ. What a big hit he had in the second inning. 2 outs, 2 in scoring position, and as he has done all year, he came through. Sharp single right back up the middle, and that gave the Rockies the 3-2 advantage. DJ keeps this up, George. He's going to be back in Cincinnati during the All-Star break as a participant.
As he should be. He's played very, very well. I think last year, the staple of getting the Gold Glove, the average that he hit, probably should have won the Gold Glove the year previous also, to be quite honest with you. I think he made 2 years the previous year. So, that's going to be interesting. I think Nolan Arenado may be a teammate of his here.
Usually to get a Gold Glove at second base, you had to beat out one Brandon Phillips, and that's still the case. Brandon's a wonderful second baseman, but LeMahieu deserving that he won it last year. And this ball's on the ground to Cozart, who was a finalist for the Gold Glove at shortstop last year, won again by Andrelton Simmons. They're very sound up the middle defensively, and Votto's a good first baseman, and Frazier's better than average at third. With every challenge call, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Hasn't been fun for Brian Price lately.
Well, and Kenny weathered that storm. I mean, Renicky and Milwaukee could not. Had been given an extension. They didn't play well. Doug Melvin chose to make a move in Milwaukee. Will the move here make that big a difference? They do have some managers that have had a lot of experience. Their third base coach, Jim Riggleman, has managed at the big league level for the Cubs, for the Washington Nationals, has been in AAA with the Reds the last 3 years. He now coaches third base. Another pretty good player in his own right, Delano DeShields, has been managing through their system for a number of years. He's at AAA Louisville now. His name has surfaced. Walt Jocketty, you'd like to see him have just a few more wins, though. And, of course, they're saying because the All-Star game's coming here, that they don't think they'll do anything. Bye-bye.
This ball's launched to left. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Nolan Arenado makes it 4-2. His team leading 9th home run of the year.
He might sit around Denver a little bit more and just take the later flights all the time. Stay hot, buddy. Man, is that fun to watch.
Well, he was 4 for 5 yesterday. 4 for 4 before flying out in his last at bat. He's 3 for 3 this afternoon.
Yeah, that average jumps right back up. Nolan Arenado may have some of those funks where he doesn't really swing the ball very well, or the bat very well. Then all of a sudden things start to turn around very quickly for Nolan, and when they do, they turn around in a very big way. And here's another base hit for Ben Polson. That home run given up by Jason Marquis on an 0-2 count. You know, it had that sound. As soon as you heard it on the bat, I didn't necessarily need to look at Marlon Byrd. I just looked out to the flight of the baseball. It got out of here in a hurry.
Blake Doyle's got to be pleased. Nolan getting locked in. He's picked up 31 points on his average in the last 24 hours.
Oh, the fun part of playing the game.
His hand hurts. Ball 1 on Willeen. Strikeout and a ground ball to short. Willeen getting a lot of time at first in the absence of Justin Morneau. This ball on the ground is short, and that'll end the inning. Justin still recovering from concussion-like symptoms. He remains on the disabled list, not traveling with the club right now. Nolan Arenado hits a big fly, and the Rockies have a 4-2 advantage, middle of 4 in Cincinnati. Well put, Mark. And this from the Baseball Hall of Fame, tweeted out a short while ago. Today we remember the lives of those who fought to protect our freedom and our country. Thank you.
Well, I think it really hits home with a lot of people, obviously, because of the relative, a brother, a sister, a father that has served, a mother.
Nolan will get back and make this catch on Pena. And that is 6 in a row retired by Eddie Butler after the Marquis double. That'll bring up Marlon Byrd. Bird lines it past diving Nolan Arenado, and then a kick around in the left field corner. Paulson gets it back in. It's a double for Bird.
Now Nolan tries to play basically central at third, and what I mean by that, he's not crowding the line, he's not in the hole too much because of great range. But when it's hit this hard on a mistake up into the strike zone, very difficult. You'll see Nolan take about 2 or 3 strides with the glove wide open and a dive. You've seen him make so many plays doing that, but this ball's going to ricochet off. Paulson gets it back in. You have 1 out and a double in a 4-2 ball game.
So Zach Cozart out of Tennessee, state of Tennessee, played his college baseball at Ole Miss. Takes down low. Rockies up 4-2. Out hit the Reds 8-5. Well, Steve Foster, Chris Welsh, who works the television side, former big league pitcher, works on the Cincinnati Reds broadcast. They're old teammates, and Foster was a rookie, and the Reds were going north of the border to Montreal. It was the first time that Steve had been out of the country. Here's the 2-1. That's in there, 2-2. And so when they were going through customs, George, the customs agent in Canada said, "Do you have anything to declare?" Which is, people who've been out of the country understand that's a normal question, and they're talking about anything you may have purchased, that sort of thing. That's low. Steve was, a little startled by the question, so he thought for a moment. He took a big step back, stuck his chest out, and he said, "I'm proud to be an American."
Good for him.
Thought that was appropriate for this
Yes,
Memorial Day.
Good for him.
Yeah. And I think the customs agent said, "Well, that's very good, sir. Do you have anything you've brought with you across the border?" That's just
That was a pretty good pitch by Eddie Butler in that spot right there. Even though you're sending a guy over with Jason Marquis coming up. Marquis is double in his previous at bat. I want to look at this one more time. At slider that Nick Hundley tried to keep into the zone, see him rotate. It did. Just a portion of that baseball might have caught the inside part, but they don't give it to him. And Zach Cozart has moved on to first with a walk.
Let's see if you can get a ground ball here with Marquis. Marquis lined a double down the left field line. Again, the pitcher hitting 8th for Brian Price. The Reds are not normally a practitioner of hitting the pitcher 8th. It's not happened since 1933. But the skipper for the Reds, again, trying to find the right recipe for success, as the Reds have lost 8 consecutive ball games.
Well, I'm sure a lot of them walked in the locker room today, including Jason Marquis, and went, "Must be a misprint." They compressed. No, it ain't either. We're doing something different, boys. We've lost 8, 9 in a row. It's time for us to get things together and play a little better baseball.
They do have a good hitting staff. Mike Leake's good hitting pitcher. Oh-2. And Butler strikes out Marquis on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. So they're 2 outs. And that'll bring up Billy Hamilton. That's the first strikeout for Butler. You hope with a guy like Eddie Butler, George, you remember when you were a young pitcher in the big leagues, your eyes are wide open. He watched another one of his young teammates, Chad Bettis, go out yesterday and pound the strike zone.
Similar type stuff to go along with that.
And you hope some of that rubs off. Ball one on Butler. Butler hit a ground ball to second in the second. Rockies up 4-2. Hamilton, I should say, hit a ground ball against Butler.
You had it kind of right in the beginning. Same two guys facing each other.
Yeah.
But Eddie can't pitch and hit. Not right now.
It's hard to do.
Yes. When you're throwing 95. Yeah, speed's a wonderful thing if you can steal first base. Sometimes that's the most difficult thing to do, is steal first and then let the speed go to work. Butler grounded out to DJ. His last at bat, flew up the line, beat it by about, he was out by about a step.
You got to come all the way back now, 3-0. You do not want to load the bases for Brandon Phillips. That's in there. Two on, two outs, 3-1, and this is softly hit to center field. It's going to drop, and it's going to bring home a run. So Hamilton drives in his 10th run of the season. It's 4-3. And it's first and third for Brandon Phillips.
The type of base hits you're going to see from Hamilton. Occasionally he'll catch one, but most of the time you're going to work it in on the hands on a 3-1 count. He just barely nicked this right above the label and fractured the bat. The ball ends up into the outfield, just out of the reach of DJ. Then it's kind of off to the races from that point. The run comes around to score, and Marlon Byrd, the advancement of Kozark to third, Hamilton at first, and I will assure you, with two outs, there's probably a pretty good chance that they're going to try to steal Hamilton, who has 17 stolen bases on the year. Just 3 times he's been caught.
And that puts a pitcher in a very difficult situation, knowing you have an elite base stealer at first and you have an elite hitter at the plate. Cozart at third, Hamilton at first.
And he will work it. He's going to make you throw strikes. He's not going to be able to bounce away from it.
1-0 on Phillips. Fly ball to center. And he fouled out down the right field line as Brandon Barnes went into the stands to make a catch. Not going, and a bouncer to third. Arenado will throw out Brandon Phillips. So a run on 2 hits. The Rockies will take a 4-3 lead now to the 5th inning. Barnes will lead it off.
Colorado. Just want to give a shout out to my wife and family. Have a happy Memorial Day and go Rockies.
And Matthew has something to smile about right now because the Rockies are up on the Cincinnati Reds 4-3 as we head to the top of the fifth. We here at Root Sports want to wish a very happy Memorial Day and thank those that have served and are serving our country. At MLB tweeted earlier, special camo jerseys and caps worn across the league on Memorial Day. And they are going to be selling those Memorial Day caps and jerseys, and all the net proceeds will be going to Welcome Back Veterans Program. They aid in the treatment of veterans suffering from PTSD and traumatic brain injury. So very cool there. Also, just a reminder, coming up at 3 p.m. local time, all MLB teams will be participating in the National Moments of Remembrance, and that's to honor the soldiers who have lost their lives during active military duty. So we look forward to participating in that in just about 30 minutes, guys.
All right, Jenny, thank you. 1-1 count on Brandon Barnes. Well, this day and all days, we should reflect and remember those who have served and those who have perished fighting for our country. This ball is in the air to Bird and left. And the day holds special meaning in particular for you, George. Your late brother served in Vietnam.
Yeah, my father in World War II, and you know what really brings it home, and today before the ball game they played taps, and playing that, I guarantee you folks, brought a little tear to my eye thinking of my dad and my brother, and you could have heard a pin drop in this ballpark while it was being played.
One out in the fifth, Nick Hundley. Talking to Walt before the game and asked him if there was one at bat in that fourth inning that stood out, and everybody put together good at bats. That's a pretty good at bat right there.
You got to remember, Hundley hit that ball deep down the left field line, just fouled for a home run. Then he hit a ball right back at Marquis in the third that he was able to kind of fight it off and make the play. And this one is duck and look out, buddy. We got a line drive incoming right back up the middle.
But to finish that thought, the one at bat, and there were so many good at bats in that sequence, but Walt felt Nick Hundley's at bat, George, he fouled off several pitches, and then he comes through with the base hit to drive in a run and keep things going. Nick takes off, hit and run. Descalso misses, and Nick is caught stealing.
Hundley on the year now has been caught 4 times. All 4 have been on a hit and run. When he is taken off and the batter could not come through in a way to protect him anyway. That ball was well away from Descalso. Tough to make contact on that. An elevated fastball. The ball beat him there by quite a bit.
And it turns into a very quick inning. 1, 2, 3 in the fifth, despite the single by Hundley. So we'll go to the bottom of the fifth. The Rockies up 4-3. Votto will lead things off for Cincinnati. Here's a check of our Rockies leading 4-3. Todd Frazier, a 2-run home run in the first. The Rockies got a run at the top of the first. Nolan Arenado, boy, is he cooking. 3 for 3 after a 4 for 5 day yesterday. He had a pinch hit single in the previous game. So you can do the math. He's 8 for his last 9. DJ a 2-run single as well. Votto leading off against Eddie Butler. And in the third inning, it was Votto, Frazier, and Bruce. Butler retired them in order.
I'd like to see that same repeat performance after scuffling a little bit back in the fourth inning. Eddie's pitch count at 59, much better than previous 2 starts.
Well, he was at 77 and gone after 3 innings in his last outing. It's 2-0 on Votto. The shift is on, though Votto has hit 2 balls in the air to left, 1 off the scoreboard for a double, and then a line drive that was caught by Ben Paulson out and left. 2-0. And this is in the air again toward Paulson. And Ben, near the line, makes the catch.
Hey, you got a pretty good breeze coming off the river right now, blowing the ball from right to left, and that's exactly what happened. A left-handed hitter at the plate. You're going to get a little move and spin on the ball, but it got up high and it created it. Vote now for your Rockies All-Stars on your computer, tablet, or smartphone on the 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game Ballot exclusively at Rockies.com. Got a few choices, folks, so get in and make sure you place those votes.
Todd Frazier, 2-run home run and a fly ball to fairly deep center field. Takes a slider for strike 1. Leading the Reds with those 13 home runs. On the ground to third, not where you want to hit it. 2 outs. Make the special plays. Make sure you make the routine plays, and that kid makes them all. 2 outs. Jay Bruce out of Beaumont, Texas. Single and a line drive to third. It's actually a line drive to short. Nolan's the only guy over there. Nolan made a nice stabbing catch to take a base hit away from Bruce in the third inning. Mayhew with that shift is playing about 10 yards onto the outfield grass. It's actually, George, turned into, it's, you know, still high class, kind of turned into a pleasant afternoon. Nice little late spring breeze.
And it's been wonderful to sit up here. We can feel it probably a little more than the players can, but it's very good weather to play baseball in. We kept the tarp on until about an hour and 15 minutes ahead of game time.
It's a broken bat single to center field. Log on to CFD Rodeo /Aerosmith for your chance to win tickets to see Steven Tyler and Aerosmith in concert Wednesday, July 22nd in Cheyenne. Cheyenne Frontier Day is summer's largest country music festival. Brian Pena, a walk and a little flare to third. Reds were 18 and 17 about a week ago, and now they find themselves 17 and 25, or excuse me, 18 and 25. Ground ball toward the middle. DJ will have to go to first, and he gets the out there because Descalso had crossed over to the bag trying to get to the baseball also. So that force play was no longer an option. Terrific play by the Gold Glover. 4-3 Colorado. the Rockies lineup. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. Check this out. Division leaders Memorial Day last year. Atlanta, Milwaukee, San Francisco, Toronto, Detroit, Oakland. And none of those teams are in first place 2015. It's why another reason you got to love baseball. You never know. Washington, boy, if they come on after a slow start. Cardinals, they're always there. Dodgers, Tampa, a surprise.
Yeah, they're playing really good baseball under first-year manager Cash. And the Kansas City Royals, although today Jeremy Guthrie, the former Rocky, 3 innings, 11 runs given up to the Yankees. Are losing 11-0. But otherwise, that club's been very dangerous. Very good baseball team. I think one team starting to play a little better, but not great. Chicago White Sox after loading up in the wintertime.
The Royals, today aside, they've had a very good first quarter of the season.
You know, I found it interesting. I read something the other day where the Padres started like 10-5, and then they were like 5-18. They had played good baseball.
Yeah, they cooled off offensively. Butler was a good swing. It's 2-2.
Former Rocky Ryan Mathis is warming up down in the bullpen for the Cincinnati Reds. Made it to the big leagues with the Washington Nationals.
Butler gone.
Matthews kind of bounced around a little bit after the surgery. Now getting the opportunity here with the Cincinnati Reds.
So with one out, Blackman will come up 0 for 2 and a walk.
Well, don't miss the action at Coors Field when the Dodgers, Marlins, and Cardinals come to town June 1st through the 10th. A lot of exciting players. Former Rocky Matt Holliday, you got a shot to look at. Stanton with the Marlins, and of course the Dodgers. It seems like Coors Field have been their second home for the last 6 weeks.
It does seem that way, doesn't it? 1-0 on Charlie. Swung on and missed. 1-1. The Rockies got a run off of Marquis in the first, 2 in the second. They had the home run in the fourth from Arenado, and now here's a base hit for Blackman. And that is the Rockies' 10th hit of the ball game.
And this is what Jason Marquis does. He's going to give up some hits in a ball game, but you look up and you're thinking, man, you've given up 10 hits, just 4 runs. One of those innings, or 2 of those runs, popped up on a leadoff walk and then an error by Todd Frazier, and the Rockies capitalize on both. Marquis so far 17 of 28 first pitch strikes in this ball game. He's throwing 86 pitches. That limit for him is getting more likely they'll go to that bullpen pretty quick. Managers know, of course, with so many numbers out there today, of when you reach that pitch count, what the opposition has done, pitch 85 to 100 in your starts. And that third time through, they're not going to let it go very long. And of course, having a former pitching coach as your manager makes a little difference. Charlie stolen base back in the first inning, his 8th of the season.
They pitched out initially. That's in there. 1 ball, 1 strike on LeMahieu. 2-run single in the second. 1 for 3 for DJ. Looks down at Stu Cole. Brandon Phillips at double play depth, so there's a big hole on that right side that DJ utilizes so frequently. There goes the runner. Another pitch out. The throw safe underneath the tag. So despite the pitch out, Blackman has his 2nd stolen base of the day. The Rockies are 3 for 4. They've been very aggressive against the combination of Marquis and Pena.
Tim Wilkie is the second base umpire, and immediately after the tag, Cozart looked to the dugout and pointed to Brian Price saying, let's check it. Pitch out, big jump, tag applied. I think Charlie got under. The tag was applied on the hip. Did they get the tag down before the foot got down? I don't think they did. Yeah, Brian Price is going to let it go. So obviously it wasn't close enough for them to feel it. Yeah, see, Brian, I mean, they thought they would do it. Not going to. Charlie in scoring position. 9th stolen base for Charlie.
And that's a strike on DJ. 2-2. Arenado's on deck. Rockies trying to get that run back. They had a 4-2 lead after the top of the fourth. It's now 4-3. DJ hits it in the air to Bruce and right. 2 outs.
It'll be interesting to see how Price, I mean, I know you see everything, but I see how interesting it is. He's going to the mound. He's going to go get the hard-throwing Matthews. It has a pretty good slider to go along with it. Jason Marquis, 5 2/3 innings given up. He wants a fresh right-hand arm, I think, right-handed arm to come in and face Nolan Arenado.
Arenado 3 for 3 against Marquis, so you understand why Brian Price made the move. So the former Rocky Jason Marquis walks off. The Rockies ahead 4-3. The 6th inning, Nolan Arenado coming up to face Ryan Matthews the day after every Rockies victory, like today. Get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Utilize the promo code ROXWIN at papajohns.com. A little bit of rain this morning. Tarp was on the field. So we had an on-time first pitch on this Memorial Day. So Ryan Matthews, who started the year with the Angels and then was designated, picked up by the Reds, is making his 5th appearance in a Reds uniform.
Not a lot of history between him and his former ball club, the Colorado Rockies. Descasso, Hundley, McHenry, Rosario, and Tulowitzki are the only ones. Stolen base by.
Well, he took one look and never looked a second time, and Charlie was running before he even delivered the baseball.
Yeah, may have been former teammates back in the minor leagues a few years back in Tulsa. Behind in the count to Nolan, 1-0.
And now it's 2-0. That just puts more pressure on pitchers. You know, George, if you get into a slider breaking ball count, if you want to bury one, there's a lot of pressure on the catcher with the runner now at third base.
You almost got to go back to have that ability to be able to spin the breaking ball behind in counts to have any success for a strike. Not a ball, but a strike. With the runner at third and you're heading to count, you want to bury it, you better be able to block it.
It's 3-0 on Nolan.
Yep,
single home run. He's driven in 2.
Asking for the fastball away in the outside half. He gets it with some heavy sink to make it 3-1.
And he knew, and the whole ballpark knew, that Nolan was going to have the green light. It's 3-1. Matthews, originally a 19th round pick of the Rockies out of Sacramento City College back in 2003. This ball in the air to left, but Bird has room, and that'll end the inning. So Blackmon left at third, singled and stole a couple of bases. Rockies up 4-3. Honors those who gave everything in their service to our country. And we move to the bottom of the 6th inning. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Jenny Cavnar, Eddie Butler against Marlon Byrd with the Rockies up a run. That's pulled into the seats foul.
First pitch slider, and this is where a veteran guy like Byrd can ambush it, and meaning that, you know, he caught it right out of the hand at 86 miles an hour. Eddie trying to throw it for a strike, so you're trying to stay in the middle of the plate to get the first pitch strike.
This ball's well hit to right, and Byrd has hit it out to tie it up. Marlon Byrd last year hit a career high 25 home runs, and that's his 10th of the year.
Happy guy in the ballpark right now. Jason Marquis just spit the hook out. Left the game trailing 4-3. This ball by Eddie. Look at it, not a bad pitch. I mean, it's outside corner, four-seam fastball. May have been elevated just a little bit. But Marlon Byrd took it to the opposite field over the head of Brandon Barnes and into the seats. Jumbo Diaz was warming up down in the bullpen for the Cincinnati Reds with a pitcher due up.
To third, good pickup, and Cozart's thrown out by Nolan. One out. Cincinnati will go to their bench. This will be Brennan Bosch, the former Tiger. One strike on Bosch, pinch hitting. And a big bouncer, and that's going to find its way into left field. So a pinch single for Bosch. 9th hit for the Reds.
Well, this continues on. This is typically a big power hitter that takes a big swing, goes the opposite field. This ball hit right out in front of home plate and finds its way into the outfield. Bosch on the season as a pinch hitter was 0 for 7, his first hit as a pinch hitter.
Rockies have Christian Friedrich on the left side, Scott Oberg on the right side. You know, Steve Foster going over a couple of things. You gotta be even more concerned. You're always concerned with Billy Hamilton bunting, but even more concerned with him bunting right here.
That and the fact that you go out, I think it's important for young players. At some time in their career, you wish it was AA or AAA, but unfortunately for the Rockies, they've had some in the big leagues. Figure out how to get through this tough inning. Make a pitch to get through this inning. Not thinking that you could get the double play ball. Just think about getting an out here. But pitch through some difficulty and learn to make that pitch. It's only going to make you better, and it's only going to make you tougher.
Hamilton, a little flair for an RBI single in the 4th inning, 1 for 2. Remember that we're going to stop play here any moment around baseball to pause on this Memorial Day. It's 2-0 on Billy Hamilton. Doing it right at 3 Eastern. 1 out and 1 on. And that's a strike. Bosch at first. It's outside, 3-1. Line drive, what a catch by Nolan. Billy Hamilton standing and staring at Arenado. And Billy, you got to get in line. There's a whole lot of players who've been standing and staring at number 28 with his defensive wizardry.
All about reactions, what it is. Nolan has great reaction to the ball off of the bat. One step and dive when you're playing that shallow because of what the situation was. Speed at the plate. He'll lay down a bunt. 3-1 count. And he's able to make the line drive snag. Yeah, clean it up now. He got a very good hitter at the plate. And Brandon Phillips.
And on the corner, a strike. Brandon lost about 15 pounds this offseason. Take some of the wear and tear off the legs. And this is in the air to center field. Charlie's out there. And Butler works his way through it. Though Marlon Byrd led the inning off with an opposite field home run to tie it at 4. So it's 4-4 going to the 7th inning. Now we ask you to pause and take a moment with us as Major League Baseball remembers those who have given their lives for our country.
We ask ask that you please join us in this moment of silence as a collective, unified expression of our gratitude to the heroes who lost their lives while protecting the freedoms we enjoy today. Thank you. On behalf of Major League Baseball, we thank you for joining us in the National Moment of Remembrance. And let's continue to play ball.
Camp John. I want to say hello to my mom, Ava, my dad, Mike, my friends, my family, and wish them a happy and safe Memorial Day. Go Rockies!
And we welcome you back to Cincinnati, Ohio on this Memorial Day with George Frazier and Jenny Kavnar. I'm Drew Goodman. Nothing decided as we go to the 7th inning. The Rockies 4 and the Reds 4. And it'll be on the bullpen the rest of the way for Cincinnati. And it's been a troubled bullpen. They have an ERA over 5. One of the worst in baseball. After a couple years ago, they were among the elite bullpens in baseball. You know, they got an elite closer in Aroldis Chapman. They just have trouble getting it there. Wow. Jumbo Diaz is going to be on the hill. And Ben Paulson will come to bat for the Rockies.
A big, hard-throwing right-hander has made his breakthrough last year after 10 years at the minor league level. Has always thrown extremely hard. Left-handers have hit 219, right-handers 286. He's been in 19 ball games. Not the same results he had a year ago as far as earned run average concerned. Strikeouts, yes, 17 and 17 and 2/3, but he'll run it up there. That first offering at 95.
Diaz is a good story. Lifetime minor leaguer to last year, George. And going into camp last season, he dropped from in the neighborhood of 350 pounds below 280. So he lost 70 pounds. And as George said, he can fire it. That came in at 97.
A lot of dedication, and he finally maybe got serious about the game of baseball and got himself in a situation where he should be. Barnes 0 for 1 in his career. Descalso, Hundley, and McHenry. Right now, it's Ben Paulson trying to get things turned around. Johnny Cueto had his right elbow looked at today. He's one of their big starters over here with the Reds. They can ill afford to lose him.
Boy, you hold your breath anytime you hear about an elbow examination.
That's not good, typically.
1-2 on Paulson, 2 for 3 today. Rosario and Barnes to follow. Rockies led 1-0, then fell behind 2-1, took a 3-2 lead, added on 4-2, and now the Reds have caught him on the home run by Bird. Get the out at first, 1 gone. Here's an illustration of the struggles of the Reds bullpen. They're now dead last in ERA, 5.03. Not good last year, but 2012, 2013 among the best bullpens in baseball. Certainly they were #1 in 2012. They have one of the premier closers in the game, as we discussed, in Aroldis Chapman, but they've been struggling to get him the baseball with a lead.
In 18 innings, he has 29 strikeouts and only 9 walks. He hasn't given up a home run and only 3 runs. And you're right, difficult to get the ball into his hands. But again, Sean Marshall is out, another one of the relievers. They hope will be back shortly and be able to possibly get into that bullpen. But if bullpens, to me, you know, you got great setup guys that have tremendous years for a couple of years, and then it's tough for them to maintain that throughout. Another slider for strike 2 to Wallin at 82 miles an hour, a 15-mile differential off of his fastball, which was at 97 against Ben Polson.
Now, Sean Marshall's not going to be back for a while. He had shoulder surgery. One and two. Wallin looking for that fastball, and he's gotten sliders. Got a fastball at 98, but it's off the plate. 2 and 2. And that misses. 3 and 2.
Worked very quickly ahead, then had to back things up, try to get back into this where he could get Wallin to an 87-mile-an-hour slider on a 3-2 count. Respect shown for Wallin's ability to turn around one of the best fastballs in baseball. And right now, Walt Weiss, it's like nothing more than to see one sail defensive. Well, if you don't already receive Hot Rocks emails, you are missing out on the best ticket deals around. The only way to receive the email is to become a Rockies registered user. Go to Rockies.com and register today, and they'll get back to you with all those special deals going on at the ballpark as teams come into town.
2 strikeouts for Jumbo Diaz. Brandon Barnes had a double in the third. He's 1 for 3. When you're Diaz's size, George, you get one of 2 nicknames: Jumbo or Tiny.
Tiny, I'm not sure is so appropriate. That's a big human being.
That's why you sometimes, right? The biggest guy's called Tiny.
In Oklahoma, we call that ginormous.
Ginormous?
Ginormous.
That's in Webster's, isn't it?
Yes, it is. If it's not, it will be.
There's our Tiny, Mike Ponarelli.
Well, I tell you, Mike had a rough 3 or 4 days there with the double headers, working the visitor side. So did a lot of other problems. There's Tiny. He's one in the golf shirt to the right of Keith Duggar.
Mike Ponarelli is the visiting clubhouse manager.
Anytime you have a rain delay on those clubhouse guys with Alan Bossert, even on the home side, they eat you out of house and home, man. Those guys, you got time to do nothing but eat.
Looked like he held up. 1 and 2. But Mike, or Tiny, he had to sleep on the office couch a couple days this past week with the short turnarounds. Last night we got to the hotel about 2:30 in the morning. So by the time you get your bags and get settled, you're putting your head on your pillow after 3. Tiny had to come down to the ballpark and get the locker room ready in the middle of the night for this morning.
He'll sleep well. Donnie started hanging around in the ballpark, working in the visitors clubhouse as a bat boy when he was 11, 12 years old.
2-2 on Barnes. And Jumbo Diaz strikes out the side in the 7th inning. We're going to keep it right here in the middle of the 7th inning. The Right Brass from the United States Air Force Band of Flight will be performing God Bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please stand, kindly remove your hats and face the American flag. Major League Baseball, the Reds and the Rockies salute the men and women of our armed forces, as well as those who serve to protect in our local police and fire departments. At this time, please help us honor these brave men and women and all our veterans of service as we continue to recognize America's Memorial Day holiday and welcome back Right Brass from the United States Air Force Band of Flight as they perform God Bless America.
They each have 2 RBIs apiece, and they each have a home run. But when you talk about some of the greatest third basemen in the game currently, they both come from the National League. And, of course, you know Nolan Arenado. He made another great defensive play in this game. We've seen an offense continue, and it just really adds to the story of both of these guys and where they rank as third baseman in the National League. It's Nolan Arenado that's played 15 less games than Todd Frazier, yet he's keeping up with him toe-to-toe when it comes to home runs, RBIs, RBIs, and OPS just 1 RBI shy of where Todd Frazier's at. And this dates back to the 2014 season, so it's fun to watch them both on display in this series, guys.
Absolutely, Jenny, and the Rockies will turn it over to the bullpen here in the 7th inning with Christian Friedrich facing Joey Votto. Votto would double back in the 1st inning, couple fly balls to left, and it's 2-0. Friedrich will face Votto, Frazier, and then Bruce. 2 out of the 3 are left-handed. Votto's healthy this year, George. Battled some injuries last year.
Well, he's battling for a couple of years, really. Not the same player after signing a big contract. Now he is back to being that player. Playing a very good first base on the season. The bat has come alive again. 7-21, hitting .288 before today's ball game. Overall numbers on Christian Friedrich, 20th appearance for him to make, 343 earned run average, 21 innings, 16 strikeouts. This has shown a very good slider. The fastball velocity up to 93, 94 miles an hour, touching 95.
Joey Votto, a career .310 hitter. Swung on and missed. Friedrich strikes out Votto. That is large. 1 out in the 7th inning.
Last 4 batters to come to the plate have struck out against the pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds, Diaz, and then now Friedrich comes up and blows the fastball. High heat right by Joey Votto. Anytime you get it up and away and with some velocity behind it, difficult for them to be able to get on top of that ball and do any damage.
Todd Frazier, 2-run home run to center field despite a great effort by Charlie Blackmon. The ball went off the very top of his glove as Charlie leaped and tried to keep it inside the ballpark. Good hook there. 1 ball, 1 strike. 4-4, bottom of 7. Keep it right here, and then that 8th inning, George, will be big for the Rockies because you know in the 9th inning, if it's even, you're going to get Chapman.
Well, that's going to happen. There's no question about it. You got to know it. You got Hartthorpe from the right side at 97 right now, and then you're going to turn around and get him, and it's only going to get a little bit more difficult for you if he comes on to pitch tonight. Betancourt has gotten up and started to throw in the Rockies bullpen. Remember, Goldberg was earlier. And now it's Ralphie.
(3-1), and that's pulled foul.
Come on, you got to make a play down there. You got gloves, you got everything. You got to stretch out, reach out.
Rockies fans.
Come on, you guys know you could have made that play. Oh, it's the Reds girl behind in between punching them while they're trying to catch it. I got it now. Just kidding.
(3-2). They'll get another chance, George. Nah, maybe not. Tony Cingrani, the other left-hander. Well, they have 2 extra left-handers in addition to Chapman now that they brought up Manny Parra. But Cingrani's one of their top setup guys. He's warming. 3-2. Barnes running toward the line, and Brandon gets there. Good running catch by Barnes. 2 outs, nobody on, and that'll bring up Jay Bruce.
I'll tell you what, it's surprising to me watching Frazier hit, and I watched him all the way back to when he was playing in Billings, Casper, 2007. Playing shortstop at that time. He's got big power to all parts of the ballpark. That ball went about 15 feet shy of the fence. Of course, the ball flies just a little bit here.
Bruce has swung it well this afternoon. 2 singles on a line out. And he gets a curveball for strike 1. And another one, and he punches it to center field. Third hit for Bruce. That'll bring up the catcher, Pena.
I just think whenever you're like Pena, it's going to, all right, stand up here and switch hitter. You're going to cheat from one side or the other on the fastball. And it looks like the right side of the plate is a guy where he's got a little bit of an open stance. Going to try to overpower everything. That shot into the stands ricocheted off of about 12 seats and ended up back in the field again.
Yeah, usually, George, with switch hitters, as you well know, there's a side that's more dominant. And typically it's the left side because most guys are going to get far more reps on the left side, even if they were a natural right-handed hitter. That's why what Chipper Jones did in his career, where he hit, I think it was 303 or 304, identical averages from both sides in his career. It's really unusual.
Got a lot of power though, but from the one side. But when you look at a guy like him that doesn't play every day, talking about Pena, that you know what? Which side is it that's going to create the power? Which side you're going to have to be careful with coming with the slider or inside with the fastball?
Toward the hole and on through, a base hit.
I think that felt like the way he set up at the plate, he was more comfortable on that right side facing the left-hander. Now Walt may be forced to go to the bullpen. A short bench today. The ball down and in, not a bad pitch from Christian Friedrich at all. It just got beyond the reach of Nolan into the outfield for a base hit.
And he's going to have to double switch it too, because he wanted Friedrich to get through this inning. The pitcher's due up third, and he may be asking Betancourt to get 4 outs. So Inoue is going to come into the ball game.
He'll go to left. Paulson will go to first,
and Willeen will come out. 4-4, 2 on, 2 outs in the 7th for the Reds. Four Rockies and Reds. Rafael Inoue comes in left field. Paulson gets the first baseman's glove, and he'll go there, and Betancourt comes in. So Rosario comes out, and the reason being, again, the Rockies in a perfect world obviously want to have Betancourt throw an inning and a third. the pen, I don't want to call them well rested, but fortunately they didn't have to work much yesterday because of the 8 1/3 that Chad Bettis gave them.
I did a very good job for you. Marlon Byrd's going to come on to face Betancourt. And, you know, when you get guys like this, two veteran guys that have been around for a while, more than likely they have seen each other, although American League, National League could be a little bit of a difference there of what they see. This is amazing to me. Just 5 at-bats for Byrd against Rafael Betancourt. All from when he was in the National League, I'm sure.
In the air to right field. One pitch should get Betancourt out of it. And it does. Nicely done. Marlon Byrd flies out. 2 left on. We'll go to the 8th. Tied at 4. Nick Hundley will be first for the Rockies. Tony Cingrani on for Cincinnati. Nick Hundley, Daniel Descalso, and Rafael Inoa scheduled. Congratulations, big congratulations to the University of Denver Pioneers. They knock off Maryland in the NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championship 10-5. Wesley Byrd, who had a terrific tournament, a terrific season, with 5 goals to lead the Pioneers to their first lacrosse national championship. And in fact, it's the first time in men's lacrosse history in collegiate athletics that a team west of the Appalachians had captured the national championship. It had been the private domain of the Carolinas, the Syracuses, the Hopkins, the Virginias. So congratulations to the Pios. That's awesome. Nick Hundley against Cingrani, the product of Rice University. And he fouls that pitch off.
Got a good arm. He'll run it up to 94, 95. Last pitch 91 to get ahead with strike 1. Cingrani on the year 0-1, 331 over 14 ball games. He has struck out 16 and 16 in the 3rd, but what's been his problem throughout the minor leagues, a lot of walks. He's got some here. 13 and 16 in the 3rd inning.
He's a guy that was a starter for the Reds. As you said, George, he'd have trouble with the walks, but guys wouldn't get a lot of hits against him.
No, he didn't, but he just didn't ever. They thought it was going to pan out better at the big league level. We're going to stick you in the bullpen, and so far it's been a pretty decent result.
Tell you how good he was in terms of limiting hits. First 22 starts in the big leagues, he allowed 5 hits or less to every team he faced. That had never been done before in the history of the game. And you say, well, what the heck's he doing in the bullpen then? It's the fact that he put some other guys on base who didn't get hits.
Well, on the other side of it is, too, it's difficult to run him out there every 5th day if all of a sudden by the 4th inning he's got 95 pitches. Now you're going to your bullpen all the time and blowing it up, which affects it for the next 2 or 3 days.
Conley's been so clutch. 1 for 3 with a run scored this afternoon, trying to get a rally going in the 8th. That's outside, 2-2. And you get to watch a guy day to day, and we saw a lot of Nick Hundley when he was with the Padres. But again, watching him every day, you see how professional he is, and he does not give away at bats. This is in the air, foul, and over the tarp, out of play. And Nick with a line shot, caught by Brandon Phillips. Well, that's how you win 4 Gold Gloves.
They've been 0 for 2 against Cingrani until that. And you're thinking, man, I got my base hit. I'm going to be 1 for 3 against him. But Phillips timed that parallel leap with the ground right at the perfect time to come up with the robbery of a base hit by Nick Hundley. Yeah, another great look at it from right behind home plate.
Here's Descalso.
Tell you what, you win a 1-run ball game late in the games. It's as important as your bullpen. The defense and the plays made are just huge. You know, he's 1 for 2 in his career against Cingrani. Like to get something going here. Rafael Ynoa is in the on-deck circle.
One and 2 on Daniel. Here's Rafael Ynoa. Two and 2. This is Descalso's 12th start today. 6th start at shortstop. Tulo will be back in there tomorrow night. And this ball is in the air to center field. Billy Hamilton. Who wants tacos? Fans follow at Root Sports _RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special. That's when the Rockies score 7 or more in a game. Rockies have not had a base runner since Blackman's single with 1 out in the 6th inning. Stole a couple of bases, but was stranded at 3rd. 7 in a row retired since then by the combination of Marquis, Diaz, and now Tony Cingrani. Noah swings and misses.
I tell you, it's 90-91, but it sure has a sound of 95. You can hear it home when it hits the leather of catcher Pena, but it must have late life on the ball. A lot of late jump to the baseball.
Rafael was 6 for 12 on the recently completed homestand. The Rockies went 4 and 4 on that homestand. Split with the Giants, split with the Reds. Split with the Phils, I should say. See the Phils again later this week at Citizens Bank. 1 and 1 on Ynoa. Raffy made the big league club out of spring training. He was optioned to Albuquerque on May 14th, but then because of an injury, he was called back 2 days later. And Cingrani strikes out Enoa, a 1-2-3 eighth inning. So we'll go to the bottom of the eighth. Knotted up at 4.
My siblings, my husband, and my sweet baby girls. And I want to say Happy Memorial Day to them and to all of Colorado. Go Rockies!
Well, on this Memorial Day, the Rockies and Reds in a struggle. It's 4-4 as we go to the bottom of the eighth inning. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Jenny Cavnar. Bottom third of the order for the Reds, Zach Cozart. And Rafael Betancourt, who got the final out of the seventh inning with some traffic. Fires the first pitch that's out of the zone, ball 1. Cozart 0 for 2 and a walk. And it's a pop-up on the left side. Foul ground, Nolan waiting, and he's got it, 1 out.
Well, the pitcher spot coming up, Skip Schumacher will come off the bench, and he's going to swing the bat for Cincinnati. Veteran guy, been around for a while. He's 2 for 3, 2 singles in his career against Rafael Betancourt.
Also on a little run off the bench with 3 straight pinch hit doubles. Raffy touches the outside corner at 91. He's the first big leaguer to have a double in 3 straight pinch hitting appearances since Wes Helms did it with Milwaukee in 2005. Helms was another guy like Schumacher. Had a pretty nice career coming off the bench.
Do a lot of different things. First, third, but more importantly, really swung the bat well. Yeah, you did.
1 and 2. This has popped up, and Nolan may have a chance here. Did he catch that? Yes, he did. That's the second time Nolan's got in the stands this year. Second time a Rocky has got in the stands today.
Yeah, that wasn't a little easy there. That was pretty tough. Keith Duggar running down the sidelines to check on Nolan.
Must have gotten hit in the throat or something when he tumbled into the stands.
Yeah, Keith checking out the collarbone area, the neck area. Let's take a good look at this again. Nolan staying with this play as he does with every play. Flipped the glasses down, got over by the stands. And then as he jumps in, he catches it. And I wonder if he caught it on one of those cup holders that is along the front of the that front row where people can put their drinks. You see the fan reaching over, but Nolan's the one that got there.
That lady came to the ballpark. She didn't think she'd get a ball player falling into her lap. What a play. I'm done. I've run out of adjectives.
And he threw the ball back up into the stands. How nice is that?
That's a great look at it, too.
Now look at the back end of that. Yeah, you can see there, it's almost like very quickly like he choked a little bit on something. Dos Calzo's checking. He's in the ball game. There's 2 outs now.
He makes all the plays, George, inside the lines, outside the lines, and if necessary, outside the playing surface, period.
It's fun to watch.
Billy Hamilton, 2 outs, nobody on. Both corners shorten up. Hamilton takes outside, ball 1. RBI single in the 4th. He was robbed of a base hit by Arenado on a scorching line drive. Two and 0.
Well, if you're one of the first 10,000 on June 3rd, that would be on Wednesday when the Dodgers are in town. You're going to get a beautiful beach towel. Rockies beach towel sponsored by King Super. So make sure you're at the ballpark early. Be one of the first 10,000 to walk through the gates at Coors Field and be rewarded with one of those beautiful beach towels.
And that's fouled off. I was talking to Rafael Betancourt this morning, and that surgery, and your son Parker went through the Tommy John surgery. Rafael, and you're talking about a 40-year-old now. Not only is he back to where he was, but he said that the day after he pitches, he feels better now than he did prior to the surgery.
Well, he did a really good job of rehabbing everything. Then going to going to Grand Junction for a period of time, then to Colorado Springs.
He Noah's there. 1, 2, 3 inning for Betancourt, so he was asked to get 4 guys. And Rafi always does as the assignment calls for. He gets all 4 guys. 4-4 going to the 9th. your low fare now at southwest.com. By Mike Shaw Subaru, always our lowest price, sales and service guaranteed. By USAA, for those who gave everything that we may breathe free, we honor you. And we hope wherever you are, you're enjoying this Memorial Day, and our hats off to the men and women who have given so much in the name of our country. It's 4-4, top of 9 from the banks of the Ohio River. We go back to the Rocky Mountains. Mark and Huey, guys. All right, Mark and Jeff, thank you very much. Well, the Rockies knew who they were going to get if it was even or they were behind in the 9th inning. Aroldis Chapman. It'll be his 20th appearance. He was in the game yesterday just to get some work, and he actually gave up a run. Aroldis making the 20th appearance, 29 punch-outs, George, just 9 walks. I don't know how a lefty stands in there against this guy.
Well, it's pretty hard to do, and Charlie Blackmon's going to get the first opportunity to do this. Charlie has never faced him, so the challenge is set for Charlie at 99 to 103, 104 miles an hour. You mentioned yesterday getting an inning of work and giving up a run. That can be pretty typical for Chapman. There are really a lot of closers when you say, I need to get him an inning of work. Yeah, your heart's really not into it. You're losing the ball game. It's not a safe situation.
Well, he misses 2-0, and obviously, George, there's something wrong. He's got fatigue in the arm. He's just 95, 96.
Yeah, trying to find the strike zone right now, and they're not able to do that. Call the doctor.
Chapman is the best athlete on the Cincinnati Reds. You know, it would be a good running race, they say. Billy Hamilton against Aroldis Chapman.
I'm still taking Hamilton. I'm not going to believe he's going to outrun him, even though a great athlete.
This guy, they say, absolutely can fly. But he's paid to throw 100 to 104, as George was saying. There's Billy Hamilton, 2-1. DJ on deck. And 3-1. Good swing.
Really good swing. Stayed right on it. Stayed on the fastball. I mean, that's, again, Charlie can do that. Every day playing against minor league guys that facing the left side. He gets one here. Just misses by Whisker, hitting that ball and squaring it up pretty good.
First time that Blackmon has faced Chapman. Three and 2. Ball 4. And for the second time in the ball game, Blackmon draws a walk. It's the third time he has reached, and he has 3 stolen bases in the game.
I thought this pitch was a ball off the plate and down. You can see Pena's turning his glove to receive the baseball. Not only that, Charlie Blackmon with 3 stolen bases in the game. That's a career high for him. He'll try to go for number 4 here. Velocity, yeah, it makes it a little harder because of Chapman being left-handed and as hard as he throws. Waleem Rosario and Michael McHenry flip spots, so McHenry is now headed to the Rockies dugout to grab a bat and get in preparation of pinch hitting. Logan and Axford are both getting loose down in the Rockies bullpen.
Of course, Troy Tulowitzki is another option. Pretty good option. DJ, I mean, nothing's easy against a guy that throws as hard as Chapman with the arm angle that he has. It's not an easy assignment trying to get a bunt down against him. And that's in there for a strike.
Yeah, pretty good too. At 83 miles an hour. Took something well off that fastball to get it in the zone. Oh, 2 count, way ahead here. Is it going to be the nasty slider or some fastball? Just come attack it. And will Charlie get in motion at first base? Ask for the throw over to first based upon the indication, and he'll do just that.
George, did you find sometimes with lefties who work out of the bullpen that are this dominant, that dominant of an arm, that they don't always have a great move?
Yeah, typically, because you're throwing so hard, nobody's going to hit the ball anyway.
This one may drop, and it will. And Charlie's going to go first to third. Little sand wedge just inside the right field line. DJ LeMahieu. First and third, nobody out.
Boy, how about this, huh? That leadoff walk. Charlie Blackmon left on left, works the walk. DJ flares it to right.
This is like a chunk sand wedge.
Yeah, slider here. Got it right underneath the label of the bat. Did not break the bat. But because of that swing, everything took off to the right. Brandon Phillips gives chase. It dumps and spins into the foul territory. Charlie not taking any warnings at all. I'm heading to third. It's all good.
Good speed on both corners. Nolan Arenado, the hottest Rocky at the plate. 3 for 4 after a 4-hit game yesterday. And he's hit another home run today. RBI single in the first, single in the second. Home run to left in the fourth. Reds have to bring the infield in with nobody out. 4-4 in the ninth.
0 for 2 with no strikeouts against Chapman.
This should get the job done. Hamilton's got a pretty good arm. Charlie tagging. Here he comes. Hamilton's throw is not going to get him. Nolan gets the job done. Rockies take a 5-4 lead.
Nolan Arenado now 28 RBIs on the season. 3 today. Wow, what a nice job of hitting by Nolan Arenado with just 1 out. Runners at first and third after 2 straight wins. A big at bat by Nolan and high fives in the Rockies dugout. And you're right, Hamilton does have a good arm and a very good quick release. He knows Charlie's got speed at third. I thought they had a shot picked by Pena, but offline just enough to get Charlie to the house.
And such a shrewd move by DJ LeMahieu tagging off of first, so he's in scoring position with 1 out for Ben Paulson. Tulo's in the on-deck circle. And now Chapman with the hacked off fastball hits triple digits.
Yeah, he got a little mad there. That 95 wasn't working. I'll just throw it 100 and see if he can handle it. Left on left. Tulowitzki, by the way, is 0 for 2 against Chapman.
Boy, DJ bouncing around pretty good. When you get to second, if you're a base stealer against a lefty, Frazier, a lot easier to swipe third, because you can get in that blind spot.
Yeah, a little bit of a blind spot there, and that's kind of a quick pitch that time by Chapman at 101. Set and went quick. Didn't keep everything in line. You know, good. Stranger things have happened in the game. You get another base hit here and get the second run in across him.
That's a strike at 101. Boone Logan has taken a seat as the Rockies have the lead. John Axford getting ready for the bottom half of the ninth. 1-2. And all 3 fastballs at triple digits. So Paulson's second out. Time for the CenturyLink Link to what's next. Looking at the rest of May into June. Rockies will move on to Philadelphia next. The Dodgers, the Marlins, the Cardinals. Rockies will be home for 10 days before heading to South Beach. So with 2 outs, DJ at second base, Tulo will pinch hit. He's the first guy, George, I think I've ever seen, correct me if I'm missing somebody, that can literally sit at over 100 miles an hour.
Well, it can. I mean, it's fun to watch, Drew. I tell you, you just don't see arms like this roll around very often. To have the command that he has, that last fastball at 100 down in the zone. I know Jerry Walker, one of Walt Jocketty's right-hand men, when he first saw him at AAA, was sent there to see if he was ready. He warmed up at 102, touched 105, and he said, if I hadn't had 55, 60 years in the game of baseball, and I didn't see it on my own radar, I'd never believed it. But I saw it. And I called Walt, and I said, I think he's ready.
I think he's ready. He may have to skip a league, move to the next league.
Well, just little things like today, though. The leadoff walk, flare to right, and you got 1 run off of him. Got the lead. Now he can't find the strike zone. I guess he can find it. Liberal strike zone.
Yeah, that looked a little up. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Tulo. I mean, you can't sit anything but dead red when a guy's throwing 101, 102. That's 102 fouled off by Tulowitzki. Five for Colorado, 11 hits for both clubs. This kid was.
All right, so you threw one at 99, then you threw one at 103. Can we find something in the middle and just throw it on the outside part of the? How about 103 on the corner block? What do you think?
Pena may have run out there because his hand hurts.
Well, you know, I've been working on a changeup in the outfield. Let's throw a changeup here. Oh, what kind of conversation can that be? Just air it out, son.
And now Tulo backs out on him. Imagine when he was growing up in Cuba, they just had to use audio cues. Fastball.
I'm just thinking of a guy catching him.
2-2. And he strikes out Tulowitzki to end the inning, but the Rockies get a run off Aroldis Chapman to take a 5-4 lead. And guess who gets it done? With his glove, with his bat, he's all everything. Nolan Arenado. On the sac fly by Nolan Arenado. Today's game changer is brought to you by T-Mobile. Well, first it's this play going in the stands in the bottom of the 8th inning. He gets a hug from Rafael Betancourt, who stands to win this game because of this swing of the bat against Aroldis Chapman. Fly ball to center field, and Charlie Blackmon comes on down to give the Rockies the advantage. Our T-Mobile game changer. So here we go, bottom of the 9th inning. Never easy. And it'll be the top of the order for the Reds. Brandon Phillips, Joey Votto, Todd Frazier against John Axford. And there's great familiarity here, George, because Cincinnati and Milwaukee, and that's where Axford came to stardom as a closer, played in the same division.
The overall numbers for him now: 11 ball games, 6 saves in 6 opportunities, 0.9 earned run average in 26 games versus Cincinnati. A 2-6 record with 7 saves and a relatively high earned run average. Brandon Phillips 3 for 11 in his career. Votto is 2 for 9. Frazier 1 for 4. That's who he'll face the first 3.
And hopefully the only 3. Phillips fouls it back, 1-1. John Axford on opening day about 2-3 years ago blew a save against the Reds here. Ramon Hernandez hit a 3-run home run to beat him, and then he went on to save a whole slew of games in a row. And this is in the air, right center field. Barnes and Blackmon communicating, and Charlie makes the catch, and Phillips is retired, 1 out. How big was that at bat that Blackmon put together against Aroldis Chapman?
Yeah, we talked a lot about Nolan, and Nolan was a big at bat, the sacrifice fly, but it doesn't happen if Charlie doesn't have that at bat and get it going and walk to first. And then on the flare to right, take the read perfectly and end up at third base. I mean, there's a lot of great things Charlie did, too, to help Nolan get that RBI.
Votto a double in the first. Nothing since then. Well, just watching his swing path, George, it almost seems like he is showing disdain for the shift and saying, I am going to go the other way.
Seeing the same thing you're seeing, Drew, and I think this is such a talented player, and because of the injuries to the knee the last couple of years, he has not been that same player that they signed to the long-term big contract. Now here was the curveball, hit the left field. Noah will get there to track and make a catch, but it's a talented player. And it doesn't matter how you get them, you're getting them. You got 2 outs, 1 out away from some high fives in the middle of the field on a holiday.
So it'll come down to Axford and Todd Frazier. Rockies trying to send the Reds to their 9th straight loss and propel the Rockies to their 3rd straight victory.
Looking to do one thing, that's airmail it. 90-mile-an-hour slider. First pitch from Axford. Nasty hook at 88. I like it. 6'7", big angles downhill. John Axford, a difficult guy to pick the ball up off of. You mentioned that struggles he had, but you know what? He had closed a number of games before he lost the role as a closer. He knows what he's doing in that situation, and he knows how to pitch in this situation.
2 balls and a strike on Frazier. Outfield very deep. Noah's in left center field. For a guy that doesn't have a lot of experience in the outfield, Noah looked so smooth catching that long drive by Votto, didn't he?
A lot of work with EY during pregame workouts.
2-1. This is popped up. Is it playable for Hundley? Nope. Couple rows deep.
And when a ball's straight back off the bat of a hitter, a lot of times that backspin, the ball will come back to you. But when it's left or right, the ball will continue to carry up into the seats.
One strike away for Big John Axford. 2-2 on Frazier. Just missed at 97.
Just missed is right. It caught enough of the plate. You can see it on the strike zone right here, the fourth strike zone. The ball was almost square to the outside corner for strike 3. Even though they wanted it away, Hundley still able to catch it and receive it and hold it in the zone.
He did a good job. You're right. And that's ball 4.
Bruce in his career just 1 for 9 against Axford, so you should have confidence here to get that last out.
Bruce has swung the bat well today. He's hit 4 line drives, 3 hits, and a line out to Arenado.
The Rockies defensively in the infield will play the same as they did basically against Joey Votto. Outfield straight away. No doubles, playing deep in the outfield. So you set up your relays, know where you're going when the shift is on, depending on where the ball's hit.
It's a good thought by Axford. With Frazier being the tying run, he's an athletic guy. He's a big guy, but he's an athletic guy, and he wants to let him know he hasn't fallen asleep.
6 stolen bases and 7 opportunities to validate what you're talking about, Drew.
Curveball, ball 1 on Bruce.
But again, it's one of those situations. If this guy in front of you, 60 feet 6 inches, you get him out, you don't have to worry about it. So you got to be careful. Pay attention to Frazier, but don't get caught up with Frazier at first base. Make sure your focus is at home plate.
Rockies up a run, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th in Cincinnati. Fastball fouled off, ball 1, strike 1, 1-1. One swung on and missed. And it's 1-2.
First pitch curveball set the last 2 fastballs up. He fouled one off. Counts 1-1. Is he coming back hooked? No, I'm throwing a fastball right by you in the upper half of the zone at 94 miles an hour to get ahead. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
What do you like here, George?
Back foot slider hard in the dirt and let him chase it.
1-2.
There looks like they're going to try to elevate the fastball. He almost bit and took a swing at it.
2-2.
With the velocity he has on his slider, I think it's very difficult for a left-handed hitter to get it up squared when it's in a good position down. Let's take a peek. We'll let you know at home maybe what they're coming up with here. You're going to ask for that fastball in. That's the pinky. The rotation in. Get it in.
2-2. In the air, center field. Blackman coming hard. He'll get there. Ball game over. John Axford saves it in the 9th, and the Rockies with a great Memorial Day victory in Cincinnati to kick off the road trip to the East. And Colorado has now won 3 straight. Rafael Betancourt gets the win. Aroldis Chapman takes the loss. Betancourt's second victory of the year. John Axford a perfect 7 for 7 in save opportunities. Nolan Arenado did it with his glove again and with his bat again as he drives in 3. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Nolan Arenado, just enough time to show you his offense. Rips a single through the hole to drive in a run. Next time up, he'd have a base hit, and then he goes deep to left over the wall for his team-leading 9th home run of the year. And then the sac fly against Aroldis Chapman to bring home Charlie Blackmon, who walked and went first to third on a bloop single. Nolan Arenado, our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. What a terrific win. The Rockies now have won 3 straight.